Hello, fellow men, and have I got an extravaganza for you guys. This time I will be delving into the best travel apps for men. So, my loyal listeners, when I give advice, it always comes from my experience, and I try and tell you guys everything I can about my travels, my experiences, and yeah, first on the list, we're going to start with number one, the most important thing. If you do want to travel, you obviously need somewhere to stay and live. And we come to the old, well, we have a dilemma because it used to be hotels. And hotels is something I don't recommend you do anymore. And you might have heard of a small company called Airbnb. Now, from my personal experience traveling, I've traveled to several countries, and every time I have traveled, I have stayed and used the Airbnb app. So, number one on my list is Airbnb. Now, it's not just the website. I recommend you guys, download this on your smartphones, and it's just a slimmed down version of what's available on the website. And I found it so useful when I've been at airports, and I've decided, to take a detour or whatever, and I needed a quick, place to stay or whatever, and Airbnb does that for you. I mean, if you guys are still, using hotels, and don't get me wrong, there's some great hotels out there, and there's some great hotel apps such as Booking.com, but since Airbnb has, absolutely stormed the market, and with it's a revolutionary idea, for people to just hire out their houses, their apartments, or even rooms, and it's fantastic. It's actually, I find it cheaper. It's more engaging for you. If you go to a city you don't know, you just rent an apartment. That's my style. And, you can mix with the locals, as I always recommend. If it's a country where English isn't a first language that's spoken widely, then, it's even better because you've got to negotiate and, meet the owners and stuff. It's all very rewarding. So, number one is Airbnb. So, number two on the list, guys, is a little app called AirHelp. And this little app, it's a small little website as well. It helps you if you do unfortunately have a cancelled flight, and these guys will be able to get you. There's so much small print and everything nowadays, and you do have to go through it unless you want to lose out on money, because airlines, unfortunately, they're not the most scrupulous people. If they can get away with it, they'll try it. So, unfortunately, you have to hire, third parties such as these guys. But they're reasonable, and if you do have any problems, it's more peace of mind more than anything. But and I would actually recommend you guys use this as a fallback, not as a go-to. I would say look through the small print. It's not that difficult. And personally, I've even looked through. I've obviously traveled a lot of South America, and a lot of the small prints in Spanish, and I translate that and I read the small print, so I know my rights, regarding cancellations or what have you. But yeah, guys, that's number two on the list, and that's a small app / website called AirHelp. Now we're moving on to the real heavy hitters. And at number three, one of my personal favorites is Skyscanner. Now, this is an absolute gem, guys, because, before Skyscanner, I was living, it's absolutely night and day. If you don't know what Skyscanner is, it's a website, but it's also an app you can put on your phone. It's a very good app, it's a cut-down version. And basically, it covers every single flight in the world, and it will find you the cheapest flights and all the connections. I use it all the time, and it blows my mind how I managed to travel without it. And it is possible to still not use this app, but you will pay a lot more money, and it's incredible the amount of savings. Not just internationally, but also even domestically within your own countries. It's an absolute gem of an app, and I recommend that. And that's at number three. I was thinking of putting it at number one, but there's Airbnb takes number one spot. You need a place to stay. But number three, Skyscanner. I recommend that, guys. If you can, install that on your phones immediately. Another absolute essential app, guys, is the XE currency app, and that's at number four. And this is an absolutely essential app, because otherwise you're just going to be on your phones and pulling out the calculator of all things, trying to work out things on the fly, on the go. And you can make mistakes, and if you're in the middle of negotiations, someone's trying to hustle you, then mistakes can be made, and big mistakes can be made. So guys, using this XE currency app, it's another absolute essential app. I have personally installed on my Android phone. I'm an Android guy. Sorry to disappoint you iPhone guys, but sorry. Yeah, and I believe it can be installed on iPhone. But you guys should check that out. But yeah, this app is, covers every currency in the world, and it's an absolutely essential app. Essential, especially if you go to the smaller, lesser known countries, just so you know you're not going to be ripped off. So that's number four, guys. XE currency. Okay, guys, we have reached number five, and at number five is the Duolingo app. Now, this is something I wouldn't call it essential, but I would say it's essential for beginners. And beginners wanting to learn a language, and for free, it's excellent. And why haven't I installed it on my phone, or why have I uninstalled it? It's because I'm more of an advanced language speaker now. And Duolingo, this app, it's more for the beginners, and it covers the basics, which is fine, because it's a free app. And yeah, guys, if you just want to know the odd words, if you're traveling or whatever, for example, you're in a Spanish-speaking country, and you don't speak very good Spanish, and you just want to know the name of something, say if you're in a shop or a store, or in Spanish that's tienda, then, you can pull out your phone, Duolingo, boom, you're done. So that's number five, guys, Duolingo. Coming in at number six, guys, and this is the big bad, Uber. And why is it the big bad Uber? Because it's an absolute monster of a company. I mean, every country I've been to, the locals have used Uber. It's huge. Now, in some countries, they have their own smaller, kind of clone apps. And I do recommend you use sometimes the locale Uber clone. But, Uber is, you can't go wrong with Uber, And with some countries where taxis are actually dangerous, such as South America, you got to be careful, It's not advised to hail them down from the streets. Uber, you cannot go wrong. So guys, that's number six, Uber. Here we go, guys, we've reached the finale. Number seven, the big bad number seven. I love the number seven. And what is at number seven? You probably haven't heard of this, but if you have read my website or read one of my posts, I'm kind of disappointed if you haven't. But number seven is called Best Onward Flight. Now, this is an absolute godsend, and it's actually saved me. I've been bailed out by this app. The customer service is superb. I had a technical issue, but you might want to know what this app's all about. And it's basically, sometimes when you travel to a country, you don't want a return ticket. And it's quite difficult and actually dangerous just to buy a single, because some countries they require you to, have a return ticket, or guess what? Something called an onward flight. So these guys are genius. You basically sign up with them, and it's very simple. Just provide an email, confirm it in your email. They'll send you an email. Just confirm it, and you're done. But these guys, for a fee, of course, it's not free. They will let you technically rent a ticket, an onward flight, for basically a few dollars, and you're done. You're set. I mean, what can you say? It's fantastic. I mean, in the past, I've had to, spend. I mean, I've had to, in my more gullible days, when I first started traveling, I've had to spend £200 or £300. I'm British. We have pounds for an onward flight. For a flight I wasn't really expecting to have, but just there so I could turn up at the airport and not be turned off the flight. So these guys, they provide. I've used them a few times, but for the cost, it's absolutely incredible. Literally, you will save hundreds of dollars with this, and it's 100% legitimate, because these guys, you're renting a perfectly legal and normal ticket. These guys will put your name on the ticket, but it hasn't been bought, as it were. It's a loophole, and it's it's not illegal. It's completely legal, and it's an absolutely fantastic app, guys. So that's number 7, guys, and I hope you've enjoyed this little wrap up of best international travel apps for men. I'll see you guys next time. Tube Man 777 signing out.